Hi there and welcome. This is officially the first day of your Detox and Reset, the Paleo Reset 31, and it is super fantastic that you are here, so well done. And just in case you've stumbled across this video on YouTube, don't know what I'm talking about, I've put a link in the video notes below, so just click on that and jump over to the page on my website which explains what the program is all about, okay? But for those of you who have enrolled, let's get into it. So this email, this is the very first one, and the first 4 days of the program are sort of dedicated to preparation, getting your head around it all, and this email is all about detoxing the fridge and the pantry, okay? It's a little bit longer than the other emails and the other videos, but there's information here which is so important, okay? So have you downloaded and read through the rules of the reset? Yeah? Have you more or less assimilated which food and ingredients you'll be avoiding this month? Over the next 30 days, we want your body to undergo a metabolic shift from sugar burner to fat burner, and we also want to significantly reduce the load on your immune system. So therefore, right, and the reasons will be fully explained, we want to detox entirely from cereals, legumes, refined sugars, seed and vegetable oils, alcohol and dairy. Right? Now the importance of eliminating from your home all of these foods and ingredients cannot be overestimated. Right? If they aren't in front of your eyes and within your reach, you won't be tempted to put them into your mouth or use them for cooking. So what we're talking about here is all of them, right? In all of their forms and in any of their derivatives. The immune system responds to molecules, and the tiniest amount may cause a flare, right? And anything sweet will cause the sugar dragon to stay alive and kicking, okay? We'll keep the sugar dragon alive and kicking. So if you haven't done so already, go and grab some boxes, fill them with all the foods that aren't appropriate for the program, then put those boxes away, right? You can give them to charity or give them to a friend or put them in your garage, but just get them away from your eyes and away from your hands, okay? Be smart, be strong, and here's the list of what everything means. Okay, so patience here. Cereals and grains. Whole and refined cereals and grains with and without gluten in all their forms and derivatives. This includes, but is not limited to, cereals for cooking. For example, wheat, rice, barley, oats, millet, bulgur, sorghum, amaranth, buckwheat, and the ancient grains such as kamut. Bread and baked goods. Bread, rolls, crackers, croissants, brioche, muffins, pizza, tortillas, biscuits, cookies, cakes, etc. It includes all organic and gluten-free products and everything made with any type of grain. Pasta, polenta, rice and pasta of any shape or form. Breakfast foods, all of those cereals, mueslis, oatmeals, crepes, all of that sort of stuff. Snacks, for example, potato chips and corn chips and puff snacks and popcorn and rice cakes. All pre-packaged foods that are high in carbohydrates, and also the derivatives such as lecithin and agglomerates and thickeners and additives, all of those stuffs that are derived from cereals or legumes, yes, not from cereals, okay? And also the grain-like foods like quinoa, okay? For this month, just for this detox period, we want to get rid of those. Okay, so legumes. Eliminate legumes in any form and in all of their derivatives. This includes, but is not limited to, alfalfa, beans, cannellini, black beans, pinto beans, peas, red beans, etc. Peanuts, peanut butter, lentils, soy milk, and tofu. All right, so remember that beans are a legume, they're not a nut. The industrialized seed and vegetable oils and trans fats. Eliminate all industrialized seed and vegetable oils and trans fats. This includes, but is not limited to, cooking oil, for example, vegetable oil for frying, sunflower oil, peanut oil, canola oil, corn oil, etc. The fats, partly hydrogenated fats, trans fats, interesterified fats, those spray oils, margarine, and all fried foods and sweets. Condiments, all condiments based on polyunsaturated seeds and vegetable oils such as mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, condiments, and spreads. Preserves, all preserves all foods that are preserved in vegetable and seed oils such as artichokes and peppers and sardines and mackerel in sunflower oil. and all your packaged foods, all your packaged food products that contain polyunsaturated seed and vegetable oils, or trans fats, right? And of course, all your fast food, right? So all of your French fries and your fried foods and your burgers and your hot dogs and your McDonald's and your Burger King and all of that sort of stuff. We want to avoid that for the next month, okay? And just that photo there that's in the top of the email, that's basic. That was what I pulled out of the fridge. That was what I pulled out of the fridge on our during our preparation for our very first reset back in 2014, and so you can see that I've got all of the little jars there, and because I was reading the labels, and all of those they all went. What are we up to? Okay, legumes, industrialized seed oils, sugar. It hardly needs an introduction. Eliminate all refined sugar and fruit juices, yeah, and sweeteners, natural and non-natural sweeteners, right? So I think this is the thing. People sort of think fruit juice is okay because it's natural, but we want to get rid of it all for this month, right? So think about all of the ingredients for cooking, right? Sugars and sweeteners: dextrose, fructose, lactose, maltol, xylitol, agave, stevia, artificial sweeteners, table sugar, brown sugar, honey, molasses, powdered sugar, raw sugar. Right? Drinks, all of your sugary drinks, all of your bottled and freshly squeezed juices, energy drinks like Red Bull, non-dairy sweetened milk, for example, almond and non-dairy sweetened milk, such as like your sweetened almond milks and coconut milks, and your flavored powdered drink mixes like chai and coffee and hot chocolate, and also the non-alcoholic drinks such as ginger and cola and orange and lemon soda, etc. And your diet soft drinks, your sports drinks, your Gatorade, those sweetened cocktails, all of that stuff. It's all got sugar in it. It's all got to go. Sweets in general, Nutella, cakes and candies and chocolate bars and chocolate syrup and cookies and donuts and ice cream and chocolate and chocolate milk and nut mixes dipped in chocolate or yogurt and popsicles and other frozen desserts and syrups and packaged sweets and treats, all out for this next 30 days. Your packaged foods, so things like energy bars and fruit bars and rolls and cereal bars and protein bars and breakfast products and all of those products that are sort of sold as being healthy. No. And your condiments, of course, your jam and your ketchup and your mayonnaise, and you read the labels, see what they've got in them, and your dairy products. So all your dairy products, plain and sweetened, or with fruit, read the labels, and if they've got sugar in them, get rid of them, okay? Now, I've got a note here. The Paleo Reset, it's not a whole 30. The whole 30 is just like no sweets or desserts or anything at all for 30 days. It's really hard. I say, for my program, I say there are no paleo sweets for the first 2 weeks of the Paleo Reset 31 because it's so important to break the habits of the sugar dragon, right? But after those first 2 weeks, I'd say that paleo treats are okay in moderation, but only use the recipes in my cookbook, right? The reason is that many paleo desserts that you'll find online, contain, in my opinion, way too much sugar or sweetener to be considered appropriate for a Paleo Reset 31. And in my opinion, they contain too much sweetener for the paleo diet in general, right? You'll see in my recipe book that I use muscovado sugar. So use only muscovado sugar for when you're making paleo baked goods, and never go overboard with them, okay? So we're not saying no forever. We're just sort of saying be very, very attentive, especially for these first 2 weeks. And when you feel like you've got the sugar dragon under control, then you can start experimenting. There's information coming up about why muscovado sugar is okay. Moving on, alcohol. Eliminate all alcohol for the Paleo Reset 31. This includes, but is not limited to, alcohol derived from cereals. So, for example, beer, but wine as well, even for cooking. And obviously your heavy alcohol, such as your Aperol and your grappa and your rum and your scotch and all of your, and just cocktails and aperitivos, just everything. Just get rid of the alcohol. And then after this this reset, a little bit of alcohol in moderation is okay. And what does that mean? For me, it means once a week. Yeah, it means like Friday night. I'll make an aperitivo if I remember. Often I forget, and then on the weekend, maybe if we're out with friends. But I usually forget. All right, so dairy. Moving on to the dairy now. Eliminate all dairy products for the Paleo Reset 31. So for the next 30 days, this includes, but is not limited to, whole, skimmed and partially skimmed dairy products, sweetened dairy products, conventional and GMO milk products with hormones and pesticides and antibiotics and allergenic and immunosuppressive agents, ice cream, prepackaged cheeses, whole or low-fat yogurt and frozen yogurt. Okay, so all of your dairy, let's just get rid of it for the next 30 days. And again, here's a note here. After the reset, those who are dairy tolerant may reintroduce whole, unsweetened dairy products such as butter and whole yogurt and cream, right? That's if you are dairy tolerant. But for these next 4 weeks of detox, leave them out of your diet and see what happens, because a lot of people are intolerant, but they don't realize it because they've been living with it for forever, right? Since infancy onwards. And so that's all of the stuff that we want to avoid over the next 30 days, but don't be scared. Seriously, it's very achievable. You'll eat really well if you're, experiment and just sort of like embrace this program as an adventure, yeah, and really start to explore new ways of shopping and new ways of cooking. You'll eat really well, and you won't be hungry. Okay, so how to shop paleo. So now that the fridge, freezer and pantry are empty, fill them with healthy food, okay? So you've got you've created the empty space, now fill that space with healthy food. Print out the shopping list from the guide. You'll also find a shopping list in the recipe book. Make a list of all the shops and the online stores and the markets that you need to visit in the next day, and then go shopping with an efficient and determined attitude, right? So just write your list, get out there and do it, yeah? In the fridge, you want to see lots of fresh food, right? Salad, vegetables, eggs, meat, fish, poultry, avocado, bacon, homemade mayonnaise. You'll find the recipe in the book. Clarified butter and some dark chocolate with a minimum of 85% cacao. 90% is even better. Might take you a little while to get used to it, but once you do, it's great. And in the pantry, you want to see nuts and various types of coconut products, such as coconut milk and coconut oil and coconut chips and coconut flakes, etc. All the types of coconut that you can get your hands on. Macadamia nuts, Brazil nuts, olives, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, spices, etc. Yeah. Also, don't forget cans of tuna, mackerel and sardines in olive oil, right? Because they get you through the hungry periods. And so there's a list here, the turquoise box, right? So start becoming familiar with the turquoise box, which gives you the important information that sort of needs to be repeated. So that's the Paleo Yes foods. And then underneath this, in the section called Eat, there's a list of there's the preparation advice to prepare all of the indispensable foods, so your survival foods, and then there's the techniques to master. So you can read through that and get into dive into the recipe book and just start experimenting and exploring there. You'll become familiar with the shopping list, which is in the guide and also in the recipe book. Now, there's some suggestions here for where to buy online. Now, if you're in Italy or in Europe, I recommend Frutta e Bacche, right? Frutta e Bacche, they're fantastic. We buy all of our nuts and seeds and dried goods there, our coconut chips and all of that. You can buy in bulk. There's a code for us, which will give you a discount. And join their list and become premium customers, because when you're a premium customer, you get big discounts, okay? So Frutta e Bacche are fantastic. If you're in Europe, my choice for collagen powder is Primal State. So there's a link for that on Amazon. And if you're in the United Kingdom, Planet Paleo is where I used to buy my collagen powder before Brexit, okay? So, and if you're in the United States, Primal Kitchen is absolutely brilliant. And yes, if you use my code there, you'll also get a 10% discount, okay? So yes, jump onto those places and do that. And if you're in Australia, I believe iHerb is where Australians are buying their Primal Kitchen products, okay? So you might need to do a little bit of research there. And then, of course, your Asia, Africa supermarkets, they're the best stop for spices and also for cassava flour. Cassava flour is also called manioca flour. We'll look at that further ahead, but it's indispensable for making paleo baked goods. And so, Asia, Africa supermarkets are also fantastic. So yes, head to the shops with a positive attitude and enjoy discovering all these new ingredients, and just do it in a really efficient way. And so the big tip here for shopping is, when you go into the supermarket, shop around the periphery. Yeah, don't go into the center aisles. If you shop around the periphery, you'll get the fruit and vegetables, and then you'll pass the fridge section, where you'll find your clarified butter and stuff like that, and then you'll switch around to the protein section, where you can buy sort of all your meats and poultry and fish and stuff, and then just head out. Okay, so avoid all the center aisles and just shop the periphery of the supermarket. Okay, so showing you moving down the email here. You've got a section here called Move. That's in every email. There's a recommendation there for how to move. Follow that as best you can, but the focus here is on the food. Okay, the focus here is on the diet, because it takes a while to get into it, but I want you to get to the end of the program understanding that it's all integrated. Yeah, it's that the diet is super, super important. You'll feel the effects, but we're actually talking about a completely integrated model, and we need to do it all. We need to be eating, moving, sleeping, connecting, and thinking in ways that optimize our genetic programming. Okay, our DNA. Okay, there's a motivation. Your motivation exercise is just to fill out all of those forms in the startup guide, and take photos and all of that. And yes, and then there's a gratitude practice if you've already done that. Okay, so get out there, do all of that, and know that the first few days of the reset can be a little bit difficult, but it's worth it. And just do your best. You are strong. You have the inner strength. You have what you need to do this. And I am wishing you all the best in health and happiness. And if you need to reach out and get in touch with me, you know how to do so. Okay, ciao.